Hey guys. A couple weeks ago, I did a dessert, the truffles, that were both vegan and could do them low sugar. Tonight, I'm going to do, it's called Fudge Keto Brownies. Same thing, a lot of the exact same ingredients. A couple things need to be substituted that I think would be very easy for people to do if they're on a vegan diet. What I've got here, obviously, is butter. So I know there's vegan butters out there that you could do. It was one stick, so you just find the substitute for that. And then uh, 2 eggs, which I know there's a vegan egg substitute that Sheila's had before. And um, you can do that real easy. So those, I think, are the two big substitutes here that we got to use. And then as far as going vegan versus low sugar, tonight I am doing the low sugar version with more of a keto environment. So that's why I've got the real butter and the real eggs. But it would not be hard at all, like I said, for you to substitute that out. And then, but everything else is pretty much vegan except for the chips. We've got Splenda. Some people call for monk fruit or some other sweeteners like that. Whatever works for you is, use your ingredients. Just probably match it 1-to-1 to whatever your recipe calls for. And then we have a little bit more than a half cup of almond flour because it calls for half cup almond flour and a tablespoon of coconut flour. I can't imagine that little bit of coconut flour making a significant difference, so I just add a little more of the almond flour here. And we're just creating the batter here at this point, getting that started. And then I had my vanilla here, but it got knocked over and spilt, so we'll add a little extra dash of vanilla here. I'll just use the cap, do about another half cap full here. And then your standard unsweetened cocoa powder. Because obviously these are going to be chocolatey fudge brownies. We have a big mixer, but I didn't feel like getting it out. It's in the evening here tonight, and we have got snow coming down, so we had snow over Thanksgiving weekend as well. We didn't get a ton, but we did get probably 3 inches or so. But we had a ton of wind, which made 3 inches look like a ½ inch in some areas and 12 inches in other areas. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking at. And here it calls for 1/4 cup, and this is where I'm using the no sugar added mini chocolate chips. And because it's my recipe and I say so, I've got the same thing with no sugar added salted caramel. So I'm going to add a few of those in here as well, just to kick up the flavor a little bit. But this is where, if you're on the vegan diet, you can go to the non-dairy chips and probably get both flavors. I'm not sure, but I know you can get the chocolate chips. And then we're getting this pretty well mixed up here. And then the baking powder. This is going to make everything fluff up. It definitely smells like a fudgy brownie mix. And it's not a lot. The other thing I like about this is it's kind of a small recipe. And I plan to make cupcakes out of these because one of my issues in life is called portion control. And I have a hard time with that sometimes. You'll sit and eat one brownie, then you eat two, and then next thing you know, you've had 6. So by making cupcakes, you have that portion control kind of in your control there, because you can take that and when you're going to work, you just have that one cupcake and that's all you have. So you can help monitor that a little bit better there. I'm putting just a little more vanilla in. But this is starting to come together.
You want to show it so they can see it?
Yeah, once I get this last little bit. So you can see it's very stiff right now. But it's all incorporated. And like I said, we do have a mixer. We could have done the mixer thing and it would have been so much easier, but at the same time, it would have been a lot louder. I don't know. I've been kind of noisy with this, but. So what we're going to do is, I already got the oven preheated to 350. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to scrape this down with the spoon. I think I got enough here to make probably maybe 6 cupcakes.
I would not go all the way up.
Oh yeah, I was going to do that.
Brownie, not cupcake.
I was going to do maybe half way up. This may go farther than I anticipated with the.
Well, what is the serving size for the cake for the recipe? We will post the recipe in the description box in the video.
I don't know. I didn't put that in there.
Oh, okay.
I just needed to know how to do it. And the batter, like I said, is a little thicker than probably your typical brownie mix. But as it heats up, I'm sure it'll level, smooth itself out, and be smooth and come out, hopefully with that cocoa powder and the baking powder, it should rise just enough to and I might have too much in these, or I may not have enough. I have no idea, never did it before, but this is the fun thing with cooking. But I meant to get to this before Thanksgiving, but we had some of Sheila's family over at the house and we hosted Thanksgiving. We had a lot of your typical Thanksgiving dishes, but we also, I think Sheila made a
Cauliflower roast.
Cauliflower roast.
With potatoes, carrots, onions, celery, and it was phenomenal, and this delicious gravy.
So yeah, it basically looked like somebody did a pot roast and set the meat aside, and then there was all these vegetables in the tray. Wonder if I should put this on a sheet pan. What do you think?
Probably one of those big ones. He's using a silicone. He used the silicone one instead of the other one that I have, and so just to help it have stability, that's why he's going to put it on a tray. Because we've never actually baked with that. That's how you were doing your frozen eggs, right? When the chickens were really lame. So yeah.
Okay.
We're on 350. The oven's preheated.
All right. We're going to 18 to 20 minutes until the edges start to crust up. Of course, you want to cool them. And yeah, it doesn't say how many, but I've got, 9 in that batch. Yeah. So that's a pretty good amount. It's a good start just to experiment and see what we get. We'll come back probably in 18, 20 minutes after they're done, and we'll show you what we got, how they turned out, and whether we can recommend them. But I will say on those truffles that we made a couple weeks ago, those were extremely good. And Sheila's mom even really liked them. She had several over the weekend. So they must have been good if they met her.
I think everybody had them.
Oh, really?
I think everybody did, but of course Mom doesn't eat pie, so she had a couple more than Dad and Fred did, yeah.
But yeah, they really turned out super good. They were a little bit bigger. If you ever go back and you watch it and you want to recreate it for yourself, I would recommend probably, because I think I was probably doing about 1.5 ounce size peanut butter rounds. I would definitely probably cut that back to 3/4 ounce, because it's nice to have those little bite-sized nuggets you pop in your mouth. When they were 1.5 ounces, it was like 2 or 3 bites per nugget. So definitely do that, and that way you are, and of course, the smaller you are, the more you get, and then the more people you can give them to. So, so we'll be back in 18, 20 minutes. Okay, so time went up, and we test them with a toothpick, just like you do anything. And we let them sit here and cool maybe 15 minutes or so. So hopefully they're in good shape. You can see they actually filled in really nicely. This one's probably the smallest of all of them, but it's still very good. Obviously, somebody knows there's treats out there.
She's also ready for bed, so she's barking.
So we're going to try one of these and see how they come out here. So they come off the paper pretty good. They're nice and still fudgy and brownie, just like you would expect.
Do you taste the salted caramel? Because that's all I can smell is the salted caramel.
Yeah, I think I didn't put salt in the mix. See, the recipe called for it, a pinch, but I figured with the salted caramel chips, that was a substitute. Mm-hmm. But these are definitely something you can do as a substitute. I'm not sure. I wouldn't think the flavor would change much if you use the vegan egg substitute stuff.
Egg, yeah.
Because, I mean, all that is really is a binder. And most of the flavors come from the cocoa as far as texture and that goes.
You could also add just a 1/2 teaspoon of peppermint extract if you wanted to make them peppermint chocolate.
But you can tell there's a little bit of different in the...
Because they're sugar-free chips?
It's more in the regular flour versus the almond flour. They still fluff up nice and neat. They're really soft. And they did rise, but they just... a little bit of difference in the texture, but flavor for the most part is not bad at all. Definitely worth eating. And if you don't get the points from the sugar, then that's a win. And because they're portioned out, I can throw one in my lunchbox every day. And same thing if you do with the vegan chips and the vegan butter and the vegan eggs, I don't think it would change that much. And that way, or you could even do, probably I could do half and half. We could have done 12 vegan if we would have bought the other ingredients, and we could have done 12 this way, all in the same pan. And you just have to
You
have
mean
two.
6 and 6?
Yeah, 6 and 6. But definitely, they're still warm, so they haven't really, come back together yet. But I'm sure as they continue to cool, they will stiffen up and get some body to them, which will be good because then they'll really have that same texture as like a fudge brownie does when you cook it. So there you go. Another idea for something over the holidays if you want something chocolatey, sweets. And these will go well. They're both very simple. These you do have to bake. The truffles we didn't have to bake. And, you could flavor these a little differently. I could have done just the salted caramel chips versus the chocolate chips. And that would have added a little more flavor. Or like Sheila said, put some peppermint in it versus the vanilla. And that would have added some different flavor to it. So there you go. Simple recipe. Didn't take a long time to make. And now I got snacks for the next 11 days of Christmas. So there you go. That's all we got. Make sure you like, thumbs up. That way we can share this with other people. Our channel is still very small, but that's okay. The people we reach are just a start, and we'll continue to grow and do more. I'm sure Sheila will have a ton more recipes here as we get into the holiday time. Probably do something for New Year's as well, just to, a lot of people celebrate that with a special meal, and we'll just see how it goes. That's all I got for tonight. Talk to you later.